let's just get right into it because it's fresh, it's hot, it's spicy on the mind right
I know, and there was a lot to take in this week because it was a double episode. So should we just hop right into Blake right off the bat here? Wait, well, I guess starting off, Chris Harrison's back, so that's exciting. JoJo, she's gone, no goodbyes, she was a failure. We're happy to have Chris back. Are you happy to have Chris back?
Yeah, Jo is like, listen, she's a good girl. She's a nice girl. I like JoJo. But she's just kind of like Chris Harrison's energy is just far surpasses Joe's. So I'm happy that Chris is back. I also, because I started following a lot of like Instagram pages, which by the way are dangerous.
Good.
Because they will tell you things that you
Spoilers.
shouldn't know. A lot of spoilers. But I actually didn't see anything about Chris being back. So, like, I was actually surprised when Chris came in. I was like, oh, he's back. I thought, like, that was it. But he came back, so that was good.
Thank God. So we start off this week with Blake, our good hometown boy. He is growing on me. I think he is representing Canada very well. But can you just take us through this date here?
Okay, so, like, he was kind of excited. It was very, like, Easy vibes after when they had that one-on-one with Easy. They meaning Tasha had that one-on-one with Easy. I was like, Blake's going home because they have no connection. He waited too long, and like kind of at the beginning of the episode, they were just like talking really briefly, or he was talking to the guys, being like, "Yeah, like I'm definitely here for like the right reasons or whatever. Like this is my time to prove it." But it's like too little, too late. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They just were walking, holding hands. They just don't. They don't click. Didn't
pop.
See it. Doesn't pop. So they and first off, like usually I like to open up and say like, "Hey, Tasha's looking great," but like Blake loved the medium-sized shorts. He has very nice legs. He can go shorter. 4-inch seams, like those are 5-inch, 6-inch maybe. Like he can go lower than that.
Well, we should let him know. My informant can share that information. So.
Yes, please,
we've got the inside scoop.
We also were witness to the Crystal Master.
So Geeta.
Was that her name?
Geeta.
I was too, like Geeta.
Geeta, of course.
Do you think that's her real name?
No, I think it's like her special hippie name that she gave herself when she moved to a cult.
Right. That makes sense. I know someone. I will not name names, but I know someone who did something similar.
How are they doing now?
Went back to his normal name. So
okay, good.
There you go. But so they like do this thing where they're doing some like crystals out of a bag, and then like you close your eyes, you pull out a crystal, and then you're able to like that crystal will tell you something about yourself. So like what they who was it? Blake pulls out a blue crystal, which has something to do with like communication. But it's funny because like this whole season has just been like crazy communication skills. Sans Ben.
Yeah.
So we've just heard everyone talk all the time about all their trauma. So I think communication was pretty good. And for Blake specifically, I think it's like, yeah, it's probably good for you to like, probably talk to Tasha once in a while. Kind of why you're here.
Yeah, seriously.
But you see. Like,
I see.
It just wasn't on. And she just like they did that thing where they basically just like sat in each other's laps and stared into each other's eyes.
And she's like, he's dead inside.
He's
poor
dead
guy,
inside.
his empty vessel.
No, here's the thing, because like you look at he's got nice eyes. I'll say this: Blake's got good eyes. Very unique, grayish blue. I kind of like that. But yeah, no, she just like that, just on the warpath.
On the warpath, and it's funny if you go back to our previous episodes, you were saying that you thought his strategy of coming in hot by saying, like, oh, I'm, like, still into Claire, I don't know, like, you're just gonna have to give me time. You thought that was, like, he's playing it cool. And I informed you at that time that that's a horrible strategy because they only have a short amount of time, so you need to capitalize on all of that. And if she's in any way feeling hesitant, like, this guy's not fully in it, you're cut. So ultimately, that was his demise, was she couldn't get there with him. They didn't have enough meaningful conversations. He was too guarded and whatnot. So that's jumping ahead a little bit because there was the swift execution of Blake after this. So do you want to walk me through the exit situation?
Well, there's not a whole lot to say. She just said, like, it's just not on. That's it. So
Well,
I just don't feel it.
I think there is a lot to say just in the sense that she completely crumbled. She was sobbing.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're totally right. There's a lot to say about that. As far as his exit goes, though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
She was just like, done. And then as soon as that happened, she got super emotional. But it's like, it plays into the double transgression theory, where it's like you screw up once, but in the middle of that screw up, you can screw up again because you can only get in trouble once for two things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically honing in on that theory, she's like, okay, well, I'm super upset already. Like, I may as well just get it over with now. And she made it easier on herself by just getting rid of two people at once.
Yeah, exactly. And not putting them through the humiliation of the rose ceremony and dragging it along that way. But I think, in a sense, like when we jump ahead to the men tell all, where Blake is kind of wondering, like, oh, like, is there something that, like, if we had more time, is there something that, you know, could have come from this? I think the fact that she broke down and was, like, clearly really distraught about sending him home, that probably fucked with him, honestly. Like, she is so torn up about this, and he said that he would, you know, think about it all the time, like how much, you know. Anyways, I think that probably messed with his brain, seeing how upset she was about the whole situation, but she clears that up later on. Anyways, après this dump, she quickly hops into the living room, and all the men are super delighted, but it has to be there can't be a good reason that she's showing up unannounced, and it is for another swift execution. So would you like to take us through that one?
Yeah, it was like, she comes in, all the guys are like, oh, hey, and then she just, visibly upset. And then just grabs Riley, and that was like, who? And everyone was like, there.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. But she had the momentum, and she did what she needed to do, but before she took him, she just kind of like let it all out on the table. She just was like with everyone. She was super emotional, and she just said, hey, like, this is really tough, and then she's like, Riley, let's go talk. And that was like, oh my god. It was kind of unexpected, but like,
it was unexpected that it happened at that moment. Like, I didn't think he was going to hometowns, but I didn't think he was going home in that exact moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah. But I think he carried himself really well throughout this whole exit. He was super gracious. He was like, this is all about you, and which it is, and like, I'm just so glad to have met you, and I wish I had opened up earlier, and da-da-da. But yeah, I wonder why she felt like she needed to do the double execution right then. I guess she was feeling super hot. She was feeling really confident and wanted to just make moves. So why do you think she did it all at that moment?
Just emotional momentum. That was it. And she just was like, okay, I just know what needs to be done. I think she said that too. She's like, I just have to do it.
I'm on a tear.
And she made it easier. And it kind of, like, I didn't think so very much, but it probably was a producer decision. I don't know if that makes sense. Or she just wanted to, like, maybe. I don't know. This is, like, super fast. We had 2 back-to-back episodes. Now we have the season finale next week.
Oh, I know.
We have 2 more episodes next week.
I'm so glad I don't have work next week, so all I can do is watch. Oh, it's going to be a great week. Great holiday.
Yeah. No,
holiday
I'm
in
really
quarantine.
Is it a 2-hour episode or a 3-hour episode?
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Probably a 2-hour, then a 3-hour afterwards.
Oh, my God. Okay.
It's okay. No lives for us. I don't know if that's a producer thing. Because I can't make a call on that one. But I think it kind of gives a more dignified thing of, like, sitting them down, giving them an explanation, maybe some closure with that, instead of just, like, doing a public thing in front of everyone. I think it maybe is a bit more dignified. So
Mhm.
I'd probably prefer a one-on-one situation like that versus bringing you to the group and then like having a 30-second goodbye afterwards. So
Yeah.
I'm all right with it. He came off really well. He seemed really sweet. But when he did that, I was talking to Alex. I'm like, now at this point, he pulls out his boyfriend-girlfriend contract and asks for it to be annulled. And he has a sign on the line here to end the contract of boyfriend-girlfriend because he is such a
He's a lawyer.
he's a lawyer. I wanted to say freak, but he's not at all. He's a lovely guy.
He is super, like, the way how he dealt with that, like, he was like a king about it, because he was just like, I hear you, I'm out, see ya, that's just the way it is.
Respectful king, yeah.
He was very respectful about it.
Oh, I'd love to meet him. He seems great.
Yeah, and he didn't go kicking or screaming, it wasn't emotional, it was just like, all right, there you go, that's it.
Because he's mature. Like, the caliber of these men is so good because they're older, they have jobs, they've had life experiences, so they're not going to be bitches about things, unless you're Yosef, which we'll get to in the future. But, I mean, obviously there are a few jerks in the group, but I think the guys that she has left over at this time are pretty dignified fellows and very mature about things, so I'm not surprised at all. And he's a professional. He's fine. So,
and you know what? He's just goes to show, like, if we're using the Bennett EQ buck, like, he has every one of those metrics to a T. He's got all the EQ, all 4 of them, and lots of all the 4.
And speaking of Bennett, also as a true crime lover, I just look at him and I think Benet, like John Benet Ramsey, the little girl that got murdered in her home at Christmas. So back to Benet here. Rose.
Wait, what?
Do you know John Benet Ramsey?
Oh, John, JONBENET. Oh.
John Benet Ramsey. It's like a huge unsolved mystery case. It's one of the most famous true crime
She reminds me of
situations.
Bennett?
Well, when I look at Bennett's name, when I read it, I think of Benet, because... So next to John Benet Ramsey here, who's this, like, adorable little pageant girl.
Edgy.
Very edgy. So
Very edgy.
this Benet comes back to life. He is resurrected for the rose ceremony. So what... What? He looks so creepy. His smile, it's so phony. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was a big fan, and then, like, well, I wasn't a fan, then I was a fan. I liked his steez, and then I didn't like him. I'm very, like, undecided about him. But just... what I kind of want to know is, like, who are his friends? What are they like? So you can kind of tell a lot about somebody, about who they hang out with.
Well, he went to dinner with Tyler Cameron, who's one of the most popular players in history. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was
Who's
seen.
Tyler Cameron?
You don't know Tyler Cameron? Oh my goodness. He is the reason why Matt James is Bachelor, because Matt James is best friends with Tyler Cameron, and Tyler Cameron is one of the most popular players of all time. If he wanted to be the Bachelor, he would have got it, but he was dating Gigi Hadid at the time, so he's like, I don't need to go on this ridiculous show. I can get women, no problem. But that's how Matt James rose to fame, was through his connection.
Oh. Well, he's got a nice t-shirt and short shorts, so he's there.
Oh, he's the best. I love him.
But he's like a player?
Yeah, he was on Hannah Brown's season, and he was the runner-up to Jed. We'll get into Jed later. We need to focus here on Benet here.
How do you look at a baby and call it Jed?
Oh, I don't know. You're probably from the South. I can't.
Jed Wyatt, very South.
Yeah. And he would bring his guitar out at every opportunity because he is an aspiring singer-songwriter, and he full-on admitted to her that he thought he was going to come onto the show to promote his music career, and then he was like, I'm surprised that I'm actually having feelings for you. But the fact that he even admitted that, like, he had a girlfriend up until the night before, and then your intention is to propel your career forward. It's just a horrible look. He is a hated member of the community by Jed, and Tyler Cameron is a hero. We all love him.
he must have killed it at the fantasy suite then.
Which, oh, actually, Tyler, speaking of the fantasy suites, Tyler Cameron and her went on a boat, and they must have not done anything, because the night afterwards, or the morning afterwards, she was like, he is the most respectful guy I've ever been with. Like, he is by far the most respectful guy ever. So to me, that says that he was just sweet and cuddly and stuff. Hannah Brown is just the best Bachelorette. You need to we'll watch that season later. We're sidetracking. Everyone here has probably listened to or watched that season already, right? So we need to focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, sorry. I'm learning as we go here, so.
I love how much you love it, though. How curious you are. The drama. It's incredible.
It is incredible. Okay, sorry. So we'll get back to this. So Bennett enters the room. Everyone's like, okay, look at his smile. He sucks. Da 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 da. What I do like, though, is the burgundy suit with blue stripes. I liked that. But you could just see everyone. You could smell the distaste.
Yeah.
In the room, and he touched Zach, and Zach's like, you don't need to touch me. What I kind of didn't like, and I mean, it's probably, this is probably a producer move, which I get, but in the moment I was like, wait, whoa. Like, she sends Riley and Blake home, but brings Bennett back.
Yeah.
Right? And that was like, ooh, that didn't really sit well with me on, like, Tayshia's, on what that was about. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning her integrity.
Oh, you would never.
I would never do that.
We can't do that.
But, like, I'm totally questioning her integrity. Unless it's, like...
Her intentions.
Her intentions. I just, like, would rather that not be the case, but, I mean, it makes for good TV, I guess. But, you know what? Dicks get the chicks.
Yeah.
Bennett is a total dick.
Well, the way that I see it is he bombarded her in her house. She was taken off guard. She wasn't prepared to make a decision about it just then. So she's like, okay, come to the next rose ceremony, and then we can. It gives me a moment to think about it. And in that time, she's like, oh yeah, get this guy out of here. And then also in that time, she needed to make a clean break with the other guys. So it's like, whatever, just bring him to the rose ceremony and we will get rid of him at that point. It adds drama and confusion and so on. And yeah, I could see how that would be the route to that.
Yeah, he's so bad they had to let him go twice.
Yeah, exactly. So he's back, and then he gets let go along with Noah. Bye, Noah. Do you have any thoughts about the rose ceremony? It was, like, pretty predictable.
Well, it was, but I was tripping out because, like, Ben got no time. Like, I didn't see Ben at all, and I was like, oh my god, are they going to send Ben home?
Oh.
But he had a rose already, so I was like, oh my god, okay, that's fine, whatever. But no, I mean, like, just as I didn't, I thought Spencer was going to be there with those other guys, and that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. So
you'll get better at it. You'll figure out the signs.
Mm-hmm. There's literally, like, it's just predictable now. You have a good group of guys now. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone there is a good guy. There's no villain anymore. Like, the showboating's over. Now it's like, okay, it's serious. Now it is serious.
Yeah, they're here because they actually love her.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Well, I mean, technically, quite seriously, maybe not all of them, but that's for later.
That's for later. Okay, I'm looking forward to your take. So, men tell all. Waste of time. What are your thoughts?
Waste of time?
Yeah, it was so pointless. They just rehashed the same drama that we had just seen. Like, they literally showed scenes from Riley being let go, and we had just seen that in, like, 10 minutes earlier on the actual episode. So usually
that's why I didn't even think about it like
that. No,
yeah.
I had to skip through it. I'm like, why are you wasting my time like this? I had to power through 2 episodes yesterday too because we were busy on Monday. But usually the entire cast is there. They have a live audience, they have guests coming in, they have, like, sponsors coming in, giving everyone popcorn, or they just make a big scene out of it. But this was like, you can really tell the difference it makes having a pared down cast. So notably missing from this, Easy wasn't there, and that's probably because of his sexual assault allegations. Joe Park, who was a fan favorite, Chasen, they were shitting on Chasen, and he wasn't even there to defend himself, which I didn't like that at all. And Claire and Dale, they've been written out of the whole series. And Claire actually tweeted or said on Instagram or something like, "Oh, I wish they would have let me come because I could have thanked all those guys for making my journey amazing," and so on and so on. Something to that effect. But to me, that says they didn't let her come. So that relationship, I guess, has not been super positive. They've, separated from Claire. But just in general, like, why are we going over the Bennett and Noah thing? Like, we just spend hours on this. I'm over it. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It was kind of like a nice recap for me in some regards because like I'm still getting there, but like
yeah,
you're right. That Chasen thing, like Chasen wasn't there, and Ed was triggered by Chasen's verbiage. Noah and
Useless.
Bennett went at each other. Noah's got a mouth on him. I love that. I love how chippy he is. The not applying the EQ book to Bennett from Noah was great. But I totally forgot Kenny existed, and Kenny was just in the back, like in Bennett's corner, and then just like getting super mad. Well, I think he's like definitely dabbles in some blow.
He's a boy band manager, of course. But this is what we would call a textbook audition for Bachelor in Paradise. And I saw in your notes you picked up on that, and I was so proud that you found that in your notes. But usually the strategy during these tell-all episodes is to cause as much drama as possible. You'll see girls who got eliminated night one in there just talking their mouth off at people and interjecting wherever they can because they want to show that they can create drama and that they're going to make good TV. So obviously we didn't have night one guys being present here, but Kenny wanted to show that he's going to contribute to the drama and the excitement if he ever gets let down to Paradise. Because the thing with Paradise this year, it's the most competitive season ever. You have Pilot Pete's season of Girls, which had some really compelling storylines that I would love to see in Paradise. You have the Listen to Your Heart folks. You have this season, like this current season of Men, which there would be some awesome contestants there. And then Matt's season, and then the future Bachelorette season that's going to take place in 2021 and like in the spring. That's 5 groups of people that you need to choose from. It's going to be so competitive, and I can't wait to see who they end up choosing. But interestingly enough, I was surprised to see this looking through Bennett's story this week. Someone was asking, like, would you want to be the lead? He's like, I would be honored to be chosen to be the Bachelor. Like, that'd be great. Someone's like, would you want to be on Bachelor in Paradise? And he's like, honestly, I can't see that for me. Like, I'm really intentional looking for a life partner, and I don't want to be caught up in the drama and the BS, which I don't know if I believe that he doesn't love the drama, but I kind of get that he takes himself too seriously to go down on, like, the trashier side of the Bachelor franchise, if that makes sense.
Is it trashier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like, The Bachelor, as it stands on its own, like, kind of has some street cred, I guess, but Bachelor in Paradise is like many different people, like just the wildest people from all the seasons come together. It's not necessarily the most serious contestants, if that makes sense.
I'm looking at a quote from Chris Harrison. Quote, "It's going to be a murder's row of choices of people," end quote. I hate to say this, but there's going to be people left on the bench that we love just because you can only have so many people on that beach.
Yeah.
Right now the plan is we're moving forward. So they're going to start filming June 2021.
Yeah.
But there's no one that I see there yet. So interesting.
They'll have my guess from this season. I mean, we'll see what happens with the group of 4 that are being eliminated, but I think Ben has a really good chance because he has such a compelling storyline. Like, he is closed off, and I can't, like, I can't express my feelings, and he has all of these really intricate and intense personal tragedies that he's brought up, like super compelling storyline. Like if Matt hadn't already been chosen to be Bachelor, I think he would be a front runner to be the next Bachelor. So
Oh,
I think he would be good. Blake, they love Blake for some reason. Bennett, obviously, if he wanted it, he would have it hands down. I've heard compelling evidence that like Ed has some sort of deal with the producers, and he like a Bachelor in Paradise deal. Like that's why he stayed on so long. He just said everything that they wanted him to say in exchange for more airtime in the future. And like you see it. Why is he getting so much airtime in this Men Tell All when he was so irrelevant? And I didn't even have like a conversation with Tasha. So I bet we'll see Ed. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, the us Jews, we can get what we want. So he knows how to pull the strings and be the puppet master.
He can pull the strings. But there's still a lot of contestants to consider. So I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Men Tell All. Other than that, what else are you taking away from this here? I guess. Oh, we didn't talk about Yosef. Yosef was the only thing that I was like really interested in.
Yeah, like so I saw what the video was of him talking to Claire, like a jackass.
You didn't see that because you didn't watch Claire's part.
No, I didn't. So like,
he
do you want to just give me like the rundown real quickly of like?
Well, you saw the video, and he's just totally arrogant, and it's so funny. He was like, they opened with this part because it is so just absurd. He's like, yeah, I've left a lot to be here. Like, I have a daughter at home, and Claire's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. My mom is literally dying, and he's like, okay, and like totally cut her off. It's like, dude, she's trying to like open up and like find some common ground here, and you just steamroll over her. So he's extremely disrespectful, and it's funny, he, after all this came out with, oh, sorry, I thought I heard a beeping. After all this came out with Claire, he was exposed for being super creepy to girls, like sending videos of him, like unsolicited dick pics and things like that, and like being super rude to girls, and like screenshots were found. So it's like, dude, you're saying that you need to have like Claire's a terrible role model and she's classless, meanwhile you're texting girls and leading them on and sending them bad pictures of yourself. He's the worst. And you could see that Chris Harrison was sort of extending a hand, extending a offer, like, all you need to do is apologize here and we will get you to paradise. Like, we need you to just, would you like to redeem yourself here? And he won't do it.
Help yourself.
Yeah, and he won't even do it. So because of that, I don't think we're going to see him again in this franchise because he's just too toxic. There would be so much backlash against him. So
yeah, here you go. This is something that he's done. So he allegedly traveled to visit Hammond. While he was there, Hammond received a video of, quote, of him jerking off to another girl, and he was talking about how he wanted to F her in that video, end quote.
Yeah, there you have it.
The second video, there's like there's a bunch of things here. So yeah, not great for the franchise, and he's just not there. But you know what? Here's what is respectable.
Oh no! Okay.
Here's something that I think is rare in somebody.
All
is
right.
that you're so stubborn, and you convince yourself that you've done nothing wrong, and he's just stuck to his guns. And you don't get people like that very much anymore. You get people that are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but he's so dumb and stubborn that he.
I mean, it's not an admirable quality. It's awful. Like, you have 10 guys yelling at you saying you're a horrible person. He's digging his heels in more.
Of course, but that's what I mean. It's like he didn't bend, he didn't break, and he's so stubborn and he's so dumb that he just won't look at it around. He is deficient in all 4 of the EQ traits, just not self-aware at all, and that's respectable. to some point. It's not a good thing. It's not admirable. I wouldn't do that.
It would be respectable if he used that stubbornness for good. Like if he directed it in a way that would, benefit homeless children or something. Like he's so stubbornly against child abuse that he is going to just dig his heels in if anyone says anything to counter his feelings about child abuse. You know what I mean? But he is just like, I'm going to disrespect women and nothing you can say is going to make me change my mind about this.
And and just like, I think that's abhorrent and terrible, and he should definitely apologize. But it's just like
no self-awareness.
Just no self-awareness. The only thing I like about it is that he just is so stubborn about it. It's just like, damn. Like it takes more effort to be stubborn than to just like capitulate. And like that's just like, oh, cool. Well,
he's very dedicated to being a jerk.
Exactly, and that is something that
it's notable
these days. It's notable.
And we had Riley having a bit of a moment. Again, coming off as very for the right reasons. He was basically crying. He seemed super sweet. Blake as well, like I said earlier, like he had to ask, if we had more time, would it have been different? And she has this opportunity to say, no, it wouldn't have been different. It wasn't working for me. So we might see him in paradise. Do you have any final thoughts on Mental?
Nah, not really. The only thing really is like, Riley, he kind of grew on me. I was never really a fan. I was like, I never really saw it with him and Tasha, and I didn't really like how he was kind of like he played Romeo all the time. It
so
was
intense,
like,
yeah.
It was pretty intense. But when he was around those guys, and like, I like how he's just like, especially with Yosef. Like, I love how he handled that.
Yeah.
So Ben, even Blake was pretty good in that whole situation. There was the dude who left Tasha's season because he was still in love with Claire.
Yeah, Jason, I think his name was.
Yeah, he was kind of like weirdly irrelevant, and then Kenny was just like screaming from the rooftop, and I was just like, eh.
Exactly.
I'm not too hooked, but you know what? There was two parts. We're on the second part.
Thank goodness there's a second part. It's hometowns. So usually these are really exciting. The lead is kind of out of their element now. Now they're being shown around. Now they're being the ones who are taken on a date. So it changes the dynamic up a whole lot. And because of that, it gives their relationships a chance to grow. So walk me through it here. What are you thinking as you're watching these?
I didn't really know what to expect, obviously, because like Homecoming is just not.
It's hometowns.
I call it Homecoming.
I know.
Homecoming.
I saw in your notes it said Homecoming. I'm like, no.
They're coming home, baby.
Okay.
The homes are coming to them. The homes don't town to them, but the homes come to them in this episode. So, you like the play on words there?
Yes, very good. Well done.
Yes. Yeah, I guess this is like the playoffs now.
Right? It is.
It's now the four dudes. It comes down to this. But I didn't know. Did you know anything about Brendan's dad before this? Because I didn't really don't remember him about that.
No, and I was actually listening to other podcasts, and they were questioning that as well. That maybe they talked about it and it didn't get aired, which would be bizarre. But I think he died.
Yeah, well, we learned about that now, but like, that's bizarre. I just didn't expect that to be the case from everything that we've learned, right, throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, okay.
So these hometowns, in one summary word, just pathetic. So depressing watching this. It made me really upset. It was just pathetic. I felt really sad.
You know what? It really was lame.
Yeah.
But I liked Brendan's was probably out of the four. I liked Brendan's.
Okay, well, walk us through Brendan's. What happened there?
Yeah, well, he kind of set the bar high. The fact that he brought his niece there was just like a pro
Clutch.
gamer. It was a pro gamer move because like oh, look at me, I'm great with kids. Like, look how fertile you are now. And that is, it was like perfect. And like, I'm great with children. Look at me, I'm an actor, and I'm hot, and I'm a roofer. Um, but at the beginning, like, it was funny because she was genuinely excited to see Brendan, but like, it happened with all the guys. She did the same. So they made this little carnival, which was like pretty cute. And they just it was just like kind of nice. It seemed like they made something out of nothing, and with like a medium overhead for the producers. So like they had to, I feel bad for the whole like design crew because they must have worked their asses off trying to get these guys' vision into play. But this one looked pretty moderate. It was just kind of fun. The dancing was kind of weird. um,
I bet
but
there must have been music playing in the real.
I don't think there was.
It's so
That's
cringy.
I know, that's what I mean. Like I was thinking about it, like you could hear like they're playing like some rap beats,
Yeah.
but IRL, I don't think there was anything. Like,
Yeah,
it
that
was
probably
like,
would have messed with the audio too much. So maybe
yeah,
it was just violently cringy. I don't know.
yeah. But one thing that was really funny that I recommend anyone, I actually replayed this twice, but go back and look at the scene where Tasha's riding the horse. It's so weird.
Oh no.
I know, it's just a little sneak peek into Fantasy
Fantasy
Suites.
suites. Oh
That's what we're looking
no.
for. So that is your reverse cowgirl right there. She
Okay,
executed it
thanks.
perfectly. Anyways, so Brendan's family. They kind of wrap up the weird date thing, and then they meet the family. The It was the brother and the his wife.
Yes.
And so the brother was the older is older, and he was like basically his dad growing up. But it was nice because it's like not that intimidating. I'd feel like having to meet parents for the first time under these circumstances is kind of like weird. So the
But
fact there was like
that's
the
what
niece,
that's the best part about hometowns that we're losing here. That's why it's such a disaster. Is because you want to see them squirm. You want to see them have to go into a new environment that is not their home turf and where the parents and the family are feeling super comfortable, so they're ready to grill this person because you've come into my home, so I'm allowed to just dominate the situation. Whereas here they're in this like neutral ground that is still pretty much Tasha's home home turf pretty much, and the families are like all disoriented because they've just been quarantining for a few days and they've never been on camera before. So it's just I don't know if I wish your first season was a real season, because then you would have a baseline to compare it to. But it's only gonna get better from here. Is all I'm saying.
okay,
It
well,
sucked. Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. We're trying new things during COVID times. We're gonna look back at this in like
Yes.
10 years, and we're gonna be like, "What did you do during COVID?" I'm like, "I watched The Bachelorette, and I talked about it on a podcast, and it was great, and it was
No,
a good
you.
experience." And now this is my baseline,
Yeah,
and
you
everything after this is gonna
started.
be weird.
You started your Bachelorette obsession. It's not gonna end with this season. You're gonna continue watching it. I know.
Well, us Zachs, we get addicted to things, and
Indeed.
this is where I turn into like Zach C, and I'm just gonna like end up totally addicted. I'm gonna basically
You're gonna start a clinic about people addicted to reality TV.
exactly that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay,
We
turn into something
specialize
good.
we specialize in Maury addictions though. 'Cause anyways, so
Okay.
they kind of like get into it. But they're God, like he's sweaty. Everyone of that whole episode, like dripping in sweat.
It was horrific. Why
But it
couldn't
was,
they, like, Ivan pulled a good move and did his date inside. All of them should have done it in an air conditioned area.
but he was sweaty too. Like
Who?
if you
The
look,
brother?
no, Ivan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ivan was super sweaty. He had a gray shirt on. He was so sweaty. I think someone who had a black shirt. I think it was Zach. Zach had a black shirt. That was smart. So like, anyways, this date ended, but it was like nice because it was comfortable for Tasha. Like you could just see the I think the bar was set high with that. I think she genuinely enjoyed herself.
Well, and on her way out, or in the ITM, which stands for in the moment,
Oh,
she was saying, like, is it just game over from here? Like, she really likes this guy, and she's not making it a secret.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, one thing I thought was super cute about the date, if we can just backpedal a little bit, was when Brandon was talking to his older brother and he's like, I see the way that your kids look at you and I want that for myself. And he's like crying. I'm like, oh, my ovaries. You are the sweetest. Like, he's what, like 29 or something? And he's like, I want babies. And like, nothing is hotter than someone who's just like so open with that. It's adorable. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's a good. He's a good guy. He's genuine. They're all great.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. That's tough. That's so tough. Um, yeah. So that I think that all set the bar very high.
for sure.
And Zach came up next, and I think that was probably the worst. That was probably the worst one out of all four, I think. But like, she still enjoyed herself.
Oh, she loves Zach. The date was awful. This is when I started being like, oh, holy, this is depressing. Pretending, well, because what it does is makes the comparison of if this wasn't COVID, we would actually be in New York right now having a good time. Because I guess if he's from New York, then their hometown would take place in New York. So that's what she's missing out on, and it's very apparent. Like with Brandon's hometown, is like, okay, whatever, you go to some random small community where they love carnivals. But with Zach, it's like, dude, you could have been in New York doing all the fun New York stuff, like rolling around like Central Park and whatnot. And you can't do this now because you're stuck here picking up this fake taxi and carrying it around in 120-degree heat
Yeah.
and eating disgusting pizza that looks like it's from the 7-Eleven, just like
Yes,
being
I
reheated
know.
and like bagels with blueberries on them. Like, I mean, I get it. If you are into a person, you could do literally anything and you're going to have a good time. But this was just sad to me. So, what were your thoughts?
Uh, okay. Don't talk smack on the sweet bagel. I'll tell you
Okay.
why. I think like the blueberries on a bagel, like raw blueberries, like blueberry cream cheese, could be a thing. But here's what I do. I go to Tim Hortons. I get an everything bagel, and I get
Ooh.
strawberry cream cheese on there.
Ew. Okay.
Now, you would never ever think that would be good, but it's like it's really good.
I don't like
And
sweet cream cheeses.
yeah, I'm not too big of a sweet tooth guy either, but like it's really good. And I, I think Zach was triggered by that because like he's from New York or Jersey, whatever, and like you don't screw with a bagel too much. Like they got bagel sandwiches through there. Like I'm sure when I was staying in or living in Hoboken, my family was living in Hoboken. Did we ever go to like a bagel joint there?
I don't think we did. We just got pizza.
We just got pizza. Yeah, okay. So the bagel joints are good, right? And everything's a lot. It's all savory, not a lot of sweet stuff. So that he might have associated that and been like, "Yo, you're tripping out, man. Don't do that." But anyways, enough about the bagels.
Enough about the bagels. Ultimately, this was a depressing date.
It was a pretty depressing date, and
And he
Zach
was sweating
wins.
so much, too.
Zach wins the sweat award. He was like really sweaty, and I think he was so happy when he just like drags her into a pond and like throws her down and
Well, that's
start
the
making
only
out.
way that he is going to be able to make out with her is if he completely drenches himself in water because otherwise it's going to be entirely unappealing to her. So he had to do that.
Yeah, totally fair. Other than just dripping, you know what? I feel bad. I am a sweaty human, so I understand. For those who know me, I do sweat, so uh, I'm there, brother.
But she seemed to like it, and he was impressed that she was down to get in a fountain anyways, I guess. So it was a turn on for him.
Yeah, well, you know what? Anything flies at La Quinta.
La
There you go.
Quinta. So then we go to meet the family after this. And what were your thoughts on the family?
Well, I mean, she was nervous to meet the parents, like obviously more so than what Brendan's situation was.
Mm-hmm.
Zach would like continued to sweat, and he just looked really uncomfortable the whole time, which was weird. Tasha had a good time. I think the brother was like really came in hard and kind of grilled her. I think that's kind of what you were explaining to me, where it's like that's what we want to see, where it just kind of puts Tasha in an uncomfortable position. But like that that was just kind of weird.
No, it's very normal.
Is that normal?
Yeah,
Because
super normal.
that was like pretty intense.
No, you should expect at least one of those per hometown. Everyone should have someone who's like playing hardball with the lead. So it was good to see, honestly.
Oh, okay, cool.
No.
Um, uh, yeah, well, I don't know if I liked that, but obviously people want different. I just felt bad for Tasha because I'm like, fuck, like that's like it's like four different families, and you get grilled by like everyone, and so like when the mom came in and she just cleaned up real well, she's had a few drinks too. So she's
Oh
like,
yeah.
let's have a cheers. It's like,
Yes,
"Oh,
that's
okay,
Charles.
cheers,
She's
Mrs. Joy."
crying.
Yeah.
Well, and the lead will never, they'll never admit who their front runner is. The lead can't say who, if they love someone, that's not allowed. So she was never going to answer this question.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, that's like that's an aggressive. She had to play it off well, and I think she did.
Yeah, she did all right.
Hmm.
But like, she's never gonna like. The brother was asking like, where does he stand in the rankings? Like, do you think she's going to reveal like, oh, number one is Ivan, number two is Brandon? Like, obviously she's never gonna say that. So what a stupid question. But he has to ask. He's looking out. I would ask the same thing if it was my brother who was on the Bachelorette. Like, so how do you feel? But it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, fair. I don't know what if my sister was on The Bachelor. Was it The Bachelor? No, she'd be on The Bachelor.
She'd be on the Bachelor. Yeah,
Yeah.
she would crush it. Your sister is a gem.
What would I say? I don't even know.
Oh,
Like,
your dad would just destroy the lead.
yeah.
I would love to see your father being the dad in this scenario. Ah, that'd be great.
You know what? First impressions, though, it's not. He's too nice. But
Are you
like,
kidding me? Did I not tell you
100%.
my first impression of your dad?
No,
Oh my god, it was horrifying. And I've talked to him about this.
I don't remember.
Okay, so I had come to England to stay with you guys, and your dad comes home, and I'm just like chatting there with Jessica. I don't even think you were home. I just like showed up and was introduced to your mom and your sister, who are the best people ever. Your dad comes home after a long day of work, and he's like introducing himself, hi, whatever, and then a telemarketer calls or something, and on the phone he's like, oh, sorry, I can't talk right now, I'm just with my family. And I guess the guy was like persisting. He's like, no, I really can't talk right now, I'm with my family. And then he kept going. He's like, dude, what don't you understand? I'm with my family, never call this house again. And hangs up. And that's my first introduction to your father. I'm like, oh no, who am I staying with here?
Oh,
So
yeah, that was a classic. He used to. That's a whole other story, but like that is very on brand. Okay, fair. You're
okay,
probably right.
but yeah, when you get to know him, he's like the softest guy. But that's my first experience with him, so I expect that if it was a random guy who's dating three other chicks coming home, he would meet them with the same ferocity.
Yeah. Yep. He is a global salesman, so he can throw it in your face real quickly. It's quick on the mouth.
Quick on the mouth.
Yeah, I don't know, that everything kind of ended. I thought it went well. It was like it was just kind of like a weird date, but it's like she's totally into Zach, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
Like
that's a lock.
it's a lock.
It's a lock.
And then what just totally killed me though, when she's like, "Good night, Zach," and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's so cute," because that's my name too.
Oh, you
And I
love
was just
that?
like, yeah, I was like, oh shit, I could just record that and play it to myself at night. And I'd be like, Tasha's like sleeping next to me, and it's like, "Good night,
Oh my
Zach."
god, do you love Tasha now?
I don't know, but like, is that creepy?
Yes, if that was like your alarm in the morning, you can like set your ringtone to,
Oh yeah,
to like a sound clip. It's just like, bye, Zach, every morning. Yeah, that would be creepy. And I'm sure your
Yeah.
girlfriend wouldn't love that either.
But it's Tasha. Like, I don't know.
She's
Anyways.
basically a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, okay, never mind. So don't worry about that.
And then next we have Ivan. So what were your thoughts on Ivan's situation?
I actually thought that was like, I thought he played it great. I thought the like just cooking at home and making like authentic Filipino food, that was cool. Like that's a fun, just drinking wine, hanging out, super casual. Like
Perfect. Yeah.
that's what I would probably do. You know what I mean? Like
It was
no, not crazy expectations, not doing anything like too crazy, but just like having
indoors where
fun.
there's air conditioning
Oh
for
yeah.
one. Yeah, this was my favorite date for sure.
Yeah, that was good. And what they talked about is like he's only ever brought one girl home before,
Well,
and that
he
was kind of weird.
he's only 28, right? So I was the first person that my boyfriend brought home, and he would have been 25. But we've been,
Really?
yeah.
Oh
Well,
my god! So I don't know how many people I've brought home to my parents.
well, he was at school in Ontario, so he did
Oh
date a
right,
girl for a long time there, but never had a chance to introduce her. And yeah, we moved pretty quickly.
there you go. Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. So he was just dripping sweat too. He had a gray shirt on, bad call, and I don't understand because like like you said, there's air conditioning, but like, is there air
Well,
conditioning?
they're cooking, right? So they're
It
over
was
a
when he
stove.
opened the door. It was like literally when he
Oh.
opened the door. He was just drenched, just spotted
Uh,
so terribly.
I can't wait for Nemacolin for mat season when they have, regular temperatures.
Yeah, where are they in that season?
Nemacolin is in Pennsylvania, so it's going to be like regular fall weather in BC.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
A temperate climate per se.
Hmm.
Um. Yeah. So that was like a pretty chill date. I liked that. They had a good time. Then the mom and the dad come, and they immediately just kind of go, and the mom just hits her with the whole skeptic card. And now you've explained it to me, so I have something. I have a totally different mindset to that, but which I just established. But like, she is playing like the hardballer
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
right? And in that moment for me, where I have no context to how it should be done, I'm just like, oh my god! Like if I found out my mom asked that question, I'd be pissed. I'd be choked. Like what an asshole! Like why would you ever say that? Like don't how to make someone feel uncomfortable 101. Like just like it's your family, make them feel like okay. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, but in this scenario, like they've only known each other for a few weeks, so
mm,
obviously the parents are going to be skeptical. But in this situation, like you need to play it cool, and also I think skipping ahead a little bit, but Ben's guest, his friend Antonia, was like really there trying to guide him to be like, yo, this is what you need to do. Like she's in there like trying to assist, right?
mm.
Whereas if there's a parent in there being like, I don't know if this is gonna work, then like you're screwing over your kid's chance of making it to the next level.
Yeah, and that's where my head's at with that, right? Like,
Hmm.
not very. She wasn't too much of a hype man, and
Okay,
you kind of need that.
if we ever get onto The Bachelor or Bachelorette and there's an opportunity to like have a hometown, you need to be there for me. And you need to be so enthusiastic about the relationship and be like, yo, Lisa has like only ever wanted to get married. She only ever wants to have babies. And I can tell in her eyes, she's obsessed with you. She loves you so much. Like, you need to really, really go in with the assist there. And like,
Uh,
likewise as well, I'm going to be like, I've never seen someone more faithful and committed and the best boyfriend in the world than Z. Like I would be there for you in that sense. I'm not going to go in there
uh,
and ruin your chances, okay?
yeah, no, I will be the hype man supreme.
There's
Trust me,
strategy.
posy vibes only.
Exactly.
That is the
Always.
mantra, and we live it
Always, of course. But
always.
I have a feeling you're too short to be on The Bachelorette, and I'm too ugly to be on The Bachelor, and too in love with my boyfriend, obviously. But
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, there's minor details like that.
did you notice how tall Bennett was compared to everyone? Like they're all tall, but he towered over everyone in the when during that rose ceremony, and he says he's 6'4", but he looked massive. But I think he had like shoulder pads in his jacket coat, so he looked broader. But yeah, you have to
What
be.
guy has
It's.
shoulder pads? What year is it?
I mean, he is he is old.
That's a good
He's
point.
almost 40. But yeah, you have to be like minimum 6 foot if you're going to be on that show. I'm so sorry.
Is that actually what it is?
No, there's not like a height requirement like you're a flight attendant, but you look at the people around and
Wait,
they
flight
want.
attendants have height requirements?
Yeah, they do, because you need to be able to put the luggage into the overhead bin.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you don't have to be that tall. You need to be like 5'5", but you can't have someone who's 5 foot tall trying to, assist people when they're exiting the plane. If you need to like reach up high to grab the lever, kind of thing, they want.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah.
I'm there.
Okay,
Right.
Ivan. Yes.
Ivan. So we talked about his mom. The dad comes in. Mom's like all skeptical, whatever. The dad, soft-spoken dude. He's kind of like Ivan, but like Ivan's dad. Does that make
He
sense?
is
Like he's like Ivan.
so all for it. He's very supportive, I feel.
Yeah, but he's just like Ivan 40 years from now.
Yes.
Like I kind of made that connection, like soft-spoken, articulate, nice. And then he kind of like questioned her intentions about marriage too.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, a little.
No, I think he was trying to find common ground with her and was like, "Oh, you were married before? Me too. Yeah, we were too young at the time. So, and my second marriage was the one that stuck because I was ready for it." So it seemed like he was bonding with her. That was the impression I got.
Oh, he totally did that too. But he said something before that, like, I remember. I totally forget what it is now. Now, obviously, this always happens. But he said something that was like, oh, like he kind of questioned her a little bit. But he did bond with her. Like it was well done. It was. I think he was better than the mom in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. He made her feel comfortable.
He made her feel comfortable. Yeah. And the mom was like talking to Ivan, being like, "Are you gonna propose?" He's like, "Yeah." Still gonna meet her parents and the fantasy suite too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Gotta
sure,
perform.
yeah, gotta perform in the sack, Tasha. Right? This isn't a walk in the park for you. You gotta hold up your end of the bargain, doll.
No, well, like he also needs to perform, right? Like he needs.
Well,
If he's garbage, then
I don't know. I've seen his brother. I think that family throws down.
I mean, Pilot Pete did it 4 times in a windmill and still didn't make it through. So
Yeah, but you know what? It's quality, not quantity. So
I completely agree.
yeah, 4 times. That's impressive.
It's exhausting.
4 times for a guy for like you're in the top percentile of
Oh yeah.
libido.
Well, I mean, they have the whole night together, right? But it was so funny so basically what happened was she was getting slut shamed by one of the other guys in her top 4 being like, if you sleep with anyone else in the top 4, like it's over for me. And she's like, pardon me? Like you can't tell me what to do. So she's like responding to all this. She's talking to freaking Luke P about it. She's like, you know what? I did have sex in a windmill, and you know what? We did it a second time. And his mind just like explodes at this point. And then she, like being the good Southern woman that she is, she's in an ITM or maybe directly to his face. I can't remember, but she's like, yeah, like, you know what? I did have sex and Jesus still loves me. And it was like so iconic for her. But then later during the Men Tell All, Pilot Pete comes up and is like talking to her about the whole situation. He's still heartbroken. And she's like, yeah, I kind of lied about what happened in the windmill. It wasn't 2 times. It was actually 4 times. And everyone's like clapping and cheering. And Pilot Pete's mom there is like cheering him on. Like it was the weirdest thing. And Pilot Pete was like, yeah, like I thought that was pretty weird that you said we only did it 2 times. But yeah, the truth finally came out. And like at that moment, you know that whoever, because the Men Tell All happens before the finale, so we know that whoever she picked at the end, like they can't still be together. Like you wouldn't be talking about that on live TV if you had a fiance or you had a committed partner. So that was really indicative of their situation at the time. But it was so iconic, and that's why we love Hannah Brown. We stan Hannah Brown.
We're Hannah stans.
Exactly. And
Stanas.
you know what? They apparently asked her to be the Bachelorette again for this season, but she asked for too much money. She asked for $1 million, and they wouldn't give her $1 million to.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How much do they do it for?
Around $100,000, I think. I think the bachelors get paid a bit more.
Oh, bachelorettes get paid $100,000.
Yeah, around there.
That's it. I thought they get paid way more than that.
No, but it's like the endorsements and all the followers and sponsors they get after that. That's the real win. But yeah, I think it's like 100 to 150 grand. But Hannah Brown, since she had already done it before and she was really well liked, she was like, I'll do it, but for a price tag. And obviously they have that money, they could afford to pay it, but then it sets the precedent that going forward, oh, you paid Hannah $1 million, like why won't you pay me $1 million?
You do not negotiate with terrorists.
Exactly. But we should watch that season next. It was so good. So
we got The Bachelor coming up. I will not have time between school and work, and two seasons of the Bachelor and The Bachelor.
It's gonna be wild. But we still have so much more to cover with Ivan's hometown.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Ivan's bro comes in, and like they have a big relationship.
You didn't lead up to that appropriately. I don't think it was a massive surprise.
It was a huge surprise.
Huge surprise.
You're totally right. Ivan's brother Gabriel and Ivan are homies. They are best friends in the entire world. The brother Gabriel has been in and out of jail. It's been a problem, and he hasn't seen him for a long time. They bring him in. Ivan is just like totally struck, and it's just like, oh my god, that does not look like anything like Ivan or what.
Oh, they don't look related.
No, they don't look related at all. I was so confused. But he's a gangster. He's like totally iced out, the sick loafers, the face tats. But it was like wholesome.
Yeah.
And I liked to kind of see that. And he was talking with Tasha, and that was like a good little conversation that they had. But it was
tats. Like, it was it was such a juxtaposition though, because you have Ivan, the astronautical engineer, and then you have Gabriel, who is a felon, right? So it was just such a interesting contrast, but it's a unexpected family dynamic, but they seem to really love each other, and it's really sweet to see.
Yeah, do you think their likability for each other is based off of a producer manipulation, or
no.
I think it is. I think they hate each other.
No,
it's just the producers influencing it.
Oh, your mind is sick and twisted. I think they.
I'm just kidding.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Okay,
that was
right.
a joke.
Yeah.
For those who didn't know, that was a joke.
Okay, just clarifying that.
Yeah. So that there was not a whole lot. Like, he just talked to Tasha for a little bit, and that was kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was definitely what she needed after the parents, because like that seemed kind of intense. So just something to kind of like lighten it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So that was Ivan's date. I thought it was all right. I thought it was probably the easiest date. The producers must have been really happy with Ivan's decision just to cook food at home instead of having to just like,
make sets and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
I loved it. That was probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The least sweat.
The least sweat.
Least amount of sweat. Okay, Ben.
So
this was also sad and depressing and pathetic.
Yeah, this one was weird, and like I just hurts because I like Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of blew it. But the date was that we'll get to that in a second here. The date idea in Venice, La Quinta Venice,
sucked. It was awful.
Yeah, that just was like they're just like what were they doing, like
they're roller skating around. Then they went to the pool, and they're like, pretend this is the beach. Like, really unbelievably bad. Like,
how long are they at La Quinta for?
I don't know, the whole time, like 10 weeks or something.
Ew, imagine being stuck there for 10 weeks.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, the whole world was supposed to be quarantining at that time anyways, so they're just doing their quarantine
in Palm Springs.
Well, so hot, like just disgustingly hot. But they're doing it for a purpose, and part of me thinks that's why they attracted a bit better talent this year because like other people who like Ben would probably have been, working. He wouldn't have time to leave everything and go do a show like this, but he's willing to, put everything on hold for a little bit because the world sort of shut down for a while. So all these people that would have otherwise been occupied are open to taking this journey.
Yeah, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Fair assessment. Yeah, so, like, how popular do you think La Quinta's gonna get? Like, after this whole thing's gonna get, COVID is gonna go away, vaccines coming out, La Quinta's gonna be popping. Like, I want to go to La Quinta now.
Okay, hear me out. Alex's family has a house in Palm Desert. I will definitely check it out. Like 100%.
You're gonna check it out?
Yeah, absolutely. Next time we're down there.
You're gonna check it out.
Sorry, did you want it to be we're gonna check it out?
Yeah,
it's gonna be like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, I'm gonna third wheel you and Alex.
Yeah, come on down anytime. They got a big house.
Thank you, please. I'll just stay quiet.
You're just gonna stay in the bush outside. It's very warm there, so you can sleep all night.
I'm gonna stay in the Presidente suite.
El Presidente. Yeah, I wonder how much they can charge for the Presidente suite, knowing that 2 bachelorettes have stayed there before. Like, where did Chris Harrison sleep? That's where I want to hang out.
He's having orgies every night and with
he has a committed girlfriend, Lauren Zima.
Lauren Zima?
Yeah.
I want to look at her. Okay, sorry. Maybe in a minute. But the Ben date, I have nothing to say about the Ben date. Because the Ben date at this point is just like they're skating around. It was just kind of like they had to do something. They're trying really hard. Good job for the producers. I feel bad for them. But what I liked about Ben, like, I know he should have brought the family. It's probably, a better shout. But he brought like his really close friend and his sister.
His dad's a doctor, so he was pretty busy during COVID. So I can understand that.
Oh, totally. But
But you want to meet the parents for sure.
You want to meet the parents. But it must have been nice. And in my mindset, before you explained it, I was like, okay, well, this is nice for Tayshia because she just got grilled like by 2 sets of parents, and then like what Brendan's situation was, and so now she basically gets to just hang out with a couple girls and just chat. So they're spilling tea like the British pensioners with Parkinson's. Like, it was a super nice way. You could just see Tayshia just totally
Thank you for that. That was nice.
Imagery.
Yeah.
They just got to just hang out. You could just see Tayshia was just super comfortable. And that was like perfect. It was like, I feel so bad for Ben. Because the girls are like totally discordant, like, yay, Ben, like, this is all you have to do. Lay it up. Like, it's a breakaway layup. And
they were like literally shaking him. Like, you need to express your feelings. You love her, go say it. And he can't do it. He's so broken, this guy.
Yeah, that was really upsetting to see. But you know what? What I liked about him, his explanation of like love and the impact it actually has, he's not wrong. But in this case, in the context of the Bachelorette, like, you need to give your emotions and you need to put them out on the table.
And I was surprised that none of these guys express themselves fully here. Where usually you're getting all these Hail Marys. Like Bennett, he did a Hail Mary of like, I'm in love with you. Like, all these guys they should know that they need to be show their conviction and show their commitment in order to secure that spot in the fantasy suites. Because as a woman or as a partner, you don't want to bring a dude into the fantasy suites who doesn't seem 100% obsessed with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why are you laughing then?
I'm just thinking, like, a dude who's not even in love goes back to the Bachelorette suite just to like tag her, and then it's just like, all right, I'm done. Like, I got my notch.
Really? That wasn't good for me. So I'm out. Wow, that was disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, all right, that was good enough. I think I'm done now. I came on The Bachelor, got to the fantasy suite. So I can say that I'm out. That's so. Anyways, that's just my toxic masculinity seeping through into our conversation.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Trying to.
Yes.
Yeah, he just couldn't say it. He's like you said, he's broken.
I know, it's sad. I feel like, do you identify closely with this fellow?
I
feel like you love him. Yeah.
I do because I don't know how much I want to reveal because
We don't need to do our PTCs now, but I feel like you have like a little soft spot for this guy.
I have a very big soft spot for this guy because like I feel for him because I understand where he's at. I get like he's speechless, he's nervous to say things, like he just shuts down, like he just gets overwhelmed, and he just is like doesn't know what to say. He literally just closes down, and it's something that is not good for someone like Tayshia.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's gonna find someone that is gonna absolutely cater to helping him work through his emotions, but that's not what Tayshia's about.
Yeah.
So Tayshia's going to be with someone who has got their emotions in order, who's got their life in order, who can like really be independent, whereas Ben's going to just need someone who can help him through his emotions. Ben's got his job, Ben's got everything he's got, and that's great. He just needs someone a little bit more compassionate and how would you say it?
Patient?
And patient, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think when you compare, like, she is in a race to find her husband, right? And she has 3 other guys who are being a lot more expressive, and there's only so much patience you can have when you're on this time limit right now. So I can understand her decision, and I just wish that he had said something because he's so sweet. He's so lovely. And then he could tell Chris Harrison, he let him know, yeah, I love this girl. And then in his drive away, just spoiler, he gets sent home. But in his drive away, he's like, I love this girl. She's the mother of my children. So he can tell a producer that, but like, you need to tell the lead. Like, Tayshia needs to know this. So frustration sensation. I hope he finds someone nice.
I mean, I'm sure there's just girls lining his DMs right now.
Oh, no doubt.
He's a total hit. But you think he's going to go on, like, Bachelor in Paradise or anything like that? Like, he must.
Yeah, he's a front runner for that. Again, we'll see what happens with the several other seasons that are coming up. I think it's more competitive. No, it's 2 girl seasons and 2 guys seasons, so it's equally as competitive. So we'll see. But he would definitely be a front runner because he went so far in the game and has a really compelling story. So I would like bet money on him over Kenny, for instance.
I think Kenny's irrelevant. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to think
No, he is irrelevant, but he is a character, right? Like, he was causing drama in the house and voicing his opinions, even though he was irrelevant in terms of dating the actual lead. So
right.
Yeah. Anyway, so he goes and Antonia's there. She's chill. She's a celebrity chef, by the way.
Antonia?
Yeah, she's got almost 200,000 followers.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. And she's trying to shake some sense into him, and the date goes okay, and at the end of the night, it's like awkward conversation, and he had his moment, and you just wanted to, like, grab him and be like, just say it!
That was so painful to watch, and like he could see the rocks are tumbling in his head. Like it's like he's got it, he has it, and he's got all the potential in the world, and that must be so frustrating for Tayshia because she's sitting there like, this is the guy, and like if he had that down, he would win.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And because obviously for 2 reasons. The first reason being like obviously look at them, and the second reason is that I'm great at predicting things.
Yeah, you have the skills.
I have the skills. So
he gets let go. He's sent home, and in the drive home, he's like, if like I totally messed this up for myself. If I had only said something sooner, then like it would be different. Maybe she just thinks that I'm not that into her, and it's like, yes, you've got it. Like, that's exactly what you did wrong, buddy. I wonder if maybe we'll see more of him. Like, I wonder if he's going to resurrect in JonBenet Ramsey type fashion.
Oh my god! I mean, it would make for great TV,
Yeah.
but he needs some therapy sessions, and to get his stuff. I'm sure he must have had some therapy.
Oh, he said he's done very aggressive and intentional therapy. So, yeah, he's done therapy before.
Okay, well, something have he needs to do with he needs to go with Gita, work on his
Yeah,
communicative skills.
Gita, bring it on, Gita.
Yeah, pull that blue orb out and fucking talk about communication.
Yeah. So then we're sad to say goodbye to him. I wish heartbreaking, really. But we have Ivan, Zach, and Brendan left. Who do you think is going to go home with the girl?
Okay, hold on. So all three of them get fantasy suite?
Yes.
Ew.
I know, it is ew. The only
Do they pull like straws and whoever gets the shortest straw goes last or
no,
something?
they make it super icky and dramatic, and the only way as a lead you can make your relationship successful going forward is if you either sleep with no one or you only sleep with the person that you're going to pick. Like you cannot sleep with multiple people if you want to have a solid relationship going forward. Because imagine that, like, oh, you banged a person the night before me and now we're engaged. Like, it just is not a good foundation for a relationship. So that's what Nick Viall did. Nick Viall only slept with Vanessa and told the other girls that he was not going to sleep with anyone. So that was his way of, like, getting out of it. And his relationship still failed.
Oh. Yeah, God. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I'll let you. I mean, for the guy, is it different for the guy?
Yes.
Like,
no, it's not. Because me as a female, I would be so just skeptical of their intentions. And this happened in Pilot Pete season, where he really liked this girl, Maddie, and Maddie was very Christian. And she's like, I am just like letting you know ahead of time, like if you sleep with anyone else, I don't know if that's going to work for me. So she told him ahead of time, and lo and behold, he admitted to sleeping with one or both of the other girls. And she's like, okay, well, I told you ahead of time, I'm not okay with that, so I'm going to have to leave. And he was devastated. He wanted to pick her. It's like, but buddy, like, she gave you a heads up. If you really wanted it to be Maddie, you don't need to sample your dick in these two other girls, right? So it's
sample your dick in two
but
other
it's
girls.
True. Like, I mean, people don't like that she was giving him like an ultimatum and like, you know what you signed up for and all that stuff. And like, I kind of get that, but she's saying like, these are my boundaries. This is what I'm comfortable with. If you want it to be me at the end, you can't sleep with anyone. And the fact that you did sleep with these other girls shows me that you're not serious about our relationship. And that's it. I'm done. And she had her boundaries. But that also goes back to Hannah Brown and her situation that I was explaining earlier. People think that it's like a double standard, that when Luke P said that he wasn't okay with her sleeping with other girls or other guys, and then she went and did it, and like he freaked out, and everyone's like, why is everyone like praising Maddie for having her boundaries but not praising Luke P for having his boundaries? It's just the way that they went about it, though. He was like, how dare you sleep with someone else, and Maddie's like, I told you ahead of time that makes me uncomfortable. You made your choice, so I'm gonna walk away from it.
That's respectable.
Exactly, yeah. But he was like heartbroken, and then and at the end of his season, there was only one girl left because Maddie had already left. So he proposed to the only girl that was left over as like a consolation, like a second choice kind of thing. And then obviously that didn't work out. So it was a brutal, awful season. But the point is, in these fantasy suites, you need to be, you can't just go and sleep with everyone. It's a recipe for disaster, as much as the guy would think so. Or like you might think it would be different for a guy because like, oh, they're more driven and da da da, like all that nonsense. It's not a good foundation for a relationship.
I had to go through a bunch of chicks before I realized that like I mean, that's just a relationship in general, though. But it's like it's a relationship in a microwave, right? That's all it is.
I guess, but if
With the
you're like,
Bachelorette, and
just don't do it.
he's it's just the time constraints. It's weird. It's like you're probably going to back to back to back dates, and you're doing back to back to back nights of like potentially having sex.
But they shouldn't be doing that if like they must have a front runner. Like Colton forewent all of his hometowns because he knew he wanted Cassie. He's like, I don't feel comfortable spending an overnight with any of these girls because Cassie is the one that I want. So he broke up with the 2 girls before before Fantasy Suites, so that he didn't even have to have that conversation. And Tayshia was one of those girls. He broke up with Tayshia before Fantasy Suites because he wanted to make sure that things would be okay with Cassie. That's what you want. You want a guy that's so into you that he's like, I don't even need to spend an overnight with any of these girls. Turns out 2 years later, they broke up and Colton was stalking Cassie and she has a restraining order against him now.
Ooh.
But that's a whole different thing. But that's like kind of the best case scenario when you're thinking of The Bachelor, is like they just dump everyone as soon as they can because they want you so bad.
Right. Best case scenario. But with Tayshia, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Maybe. But what if Ben comes back? I don't think Ben's coming back. We would have known.
No, we wouldn't. He might come back.
Yeah.
A hail Benet.
A hail Benet. Nah, you know what? It's tough. Between Zach, Ivan, and oh my god, Zach, Bennett, and Brendan. I just don't. I think Brendan. Like I just got a feeling. I think Zach is just like, he has his demons that could go. I don't know if like the parent meet up with like Ivan's parents. Like there's little things I'm just trying to piece together here, and I just think Brendan had like the best overall experience.
Yeah, and I think their lifestyles align too. Like he's a model, she's in the beauty and lifestyle space. But she said that she wanted to move to New York, and Zach lives in New York. I mean, yeah,
right.
Yeah, so that aligns as well. It's anyone's game, but I think it's between more so Brendan and Zach at this point.
Between Brendan and Zach.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Ivan's the sweetest, and he's going to be just fine, but probably not with Tayshia.
That makes sense. I see it.
Yeah. But we'll have like 5 hours of viewing next week.
Oh my god.
To go over all of this.
So much Bachelorette.
But I don't have a job next week, so I'm going to be fully there for it.
Yes.
That's just going to be, and Bachelorette, football. We're going to put out so many episodes next week. Instagram, YouTube, you're going to figure it out. I know
YouTube, yeah, I said something about it, and it didn't get done.
You're busy, it's fine.
No, not even that. It was just incredibly refractory and difficult, so I am on it. I want to get it out. It's like my goal next week, get it up and running. Yes. Please, please, please.
And then watch those numbers grow.
That's what we're doing.
Actually, as we were podcasting here, someone on the Football Friends podcast messaged me asking me for the link of the podcast so that they can listen.
Really? Oh, that's so much fun.
Yes, I know. I've been putting in the work trying to make some connections out there, and so far it's working. So
I will pull my weight.
Yes, well, you're busy now. I have more free time, but over the holidays we'll get to it.
Love it.
We'll love it. But I think that pretty much covers this week. What do you think?
I feel covered. I feel whole and complete. I think that we have a lot to watch next week.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
What the hell is going to happen? So stay tuned.
I know. I'm so excited. Okay, well, thanks for sitting down we have 87 minutes here right now. I don't know what the listeners are going to get, but thanks for sitting down for 87 minutes with me. Oh my gosh.
It will just keep getting longer and longer and longer.
Longer. Oh boy, this was a double episode, but we'll see. But yeah, I will talk to you soon and later.
Bless your soul. Enjoy your
Bless
night.
your soul. Good night. Bye.